Hello, welcome back to Teen Story Share. This week we're continuing The Fire, The Water, and Maudie McGinn by Sally J. Play. And if you missed the last 2 weeks of reading, those will be linked down below. Please do also see the content warning down in the description. Chapter 5, Accursed. At the shelter, Dad shifts away on the blue cot, cupping his big hand around the phone, trying to keep me from hearing Mom's panic-loud voice. But the words sneak through. She's incapable! Too much for her! She can't handle this! Yeah, those are words I've heard before. Dad's blue eyes have no twinkle in them now. They're dull and flat. He hands me the phone. She wants to make sure you're all right, he mutters. Maudie! Mom shrieks. See, this is what's wrong with California. If the earthquakes don't get you, the wildfires will. It's an accursed place. Texas just suffered a massive hurricane and historic flooding, and hundreds are homeless and missing there. Terrible pictures have been all over the news for weeks, but Mom would never call Texas accursed. And what was your father thinking, taking you to a shelter, she says. Couldn't he at the very least take you to a decent hotel for the night? You can't handle a shelter, for crying out loud. Your sensory issues must be... you can't even handle... I hold the phone a little farther from my ear. He's so incapable. Your father's not great at handling... Do you know he just told me he doesn't even have fire insurance? How could a grown man living where he lives not have fire insurance? Can you imagine? I don't know what fire insurance does exactly, but not having it truly doesn't sound good. Welp, I suppose that's it. There's no way around it. Mom's voice is heavy, flat. Ron and I are just going to have to cancel our cruise. We're going to have to go out to accursed California to get you and bring you home instead. That's all there is to it. My heart ignites in a fiery protest. No, 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 no. I hear a deep, loud growl in the background of the phone. Hold on a sec, Mom says. Ron wants me. I hear some of Ron's rumbling words. Impossible and non-refundable. I feel a little droplet of hope. Ron and Mom have been planning an 8-week-long luxury cruise for this summer while I'm away. It's meant to be their belated honeymoon, and Mom's been looking forward to it all year. There are very, very good reasons I would hate for them to miss their trip. I eavesdrop on Mom and Ron, still squabbling a bit. I'm feeling short of breath. I squeak out, Don't cancel, please. I'm fine. We're fine. Don't be ridiculous, Mom snaps. Your father's not equipped to handle you in a crisis. Why is she always against him? Anger flashes in me. I clear my throat. He is equipped. We're fine. I'm fine and we'll handle it. Don't cancel your trip. I am grasping at mental straws. What can I tell her? How can I convince her? Mom, how about if you give Dad 24 hours to sort it out? I'm fine and safe right now. Dad can take care of it. He will figure out a summer plan for us, and it'll be fine. She sighs. Maudie, I do believe that's more sentences than I've heard you string together all year. And here you are issuing me an ultimatum. Just who do you think you are, Missy? Then she's silent for a moment. Put your father on. I clutch Dad's arm as I hand him the phone. I make serious, deep eye contact. I put maximum pleading power into my eyes. Whatever happens, please, Dad, I have to stay with you. I say it in the most intense voice I can muster. I have to. Dad's eyes narrow. He looks confused. I lock my gaze on his and form each word carefully. When it's summer, I stay with you, no matter what. That's the rule. Summer's with you. Please, it's important. A promise is a promise and has to be kept. Even Mom believes that. Dad heaves a sigh. He squeezes my shoulder. Then he takes the call out to the corridor. On the other side of the room, a family is gathering their things together. The parents each carry a sleeping toddler as they walk through the open double doors to a minivan parked outside. An old lady in a pink sweater, the grandma probably, swoops them all into her arms, and now they're all talking and crying at once, hugging and wiping their eyes as they pile into the van. Off they go, red taillights bright as Christmas. Imagine having someone like that grandma to come and pick you up, to love you like that. Grandma Carmen probably would have if she hadn't died. As for my other grandparents, Mom's parents, I doubt it. Of course, I've never met them. The only thing Mom's told me about them is, "We're better off without them around. They were bitter, difficult people, Maudie. I haven't had it easy." I felt sorry for Mom then. Out in the hall, I can hear Dad. He's raised his voice a bit. "I can handle it," I hear him say sharply. "She's no trouble, not ever. I love having her. I can handle this. I have a plan. Give me some credit, okay? I don't know why you assume I can't." My brain is still replaying some of Mom's words, turning them into a teeth-tapping rhythm. I guess I should be ashamed of this weird habit, but I can't help it. I tap a rhythm of 6 syllables by gently clicking my molars together. Don't be ridiculous. Don't be ridiculous. Don't be ridiculous. 6 syllables Mom says to me and to Dad a lot. I barely move my jaw so no one sees me tap. It's my hidden, internal, socially acceptable stim that I can do for hours. Don't be ridiculous. Don't be ridiculous. Don't be ridiculous. When Dad's done talking to Mom, he brings me back a foil-wrapped burrito from the emergency shelter's food table. It's warm and very soft, and I kind of want to squeeze it until the warm beans gush out between my fingers. That's the type of thing I would have actually gone ahead and done when I was younger, because I had impulse control issues then, but not anymore. I've gotten way better about impulsivity. I've come very far. "Okay," Dad says with a strained smile. I look up at him, anxious. "They've agreed. You are staying with me, and your mother and Ron are going to go ahead with their cruise for this summer." I jump up and down. "But it's on the condition that I get you out of this shelter and into a better living condition immediately." Dad looks around and scratches the back of his head. "So, I had an idea. Here's what I think we should do. And you tell me what you think. What if we got in the truck and drove all the way down to Southern California tonight? Headed down to Conway?" I grin, jump up and down even higher, flutter my hands with joy and relief. I've never been to Conway, but here's what I know about it. It is a small beach town. It is all the way down near the Mexican border, near San Diego. It is where my dad grew up. My mom lived in that town too, but only for 1 year during high school, the year she and my dad met. When Dad talks about his wild teen surfer skater punk days growing up in Conway, he always gets a kind of sad yet also happy glow, the kind of look that people call bittersweet. I've always wondered about it, and it's always made me really want to see Conway. "I just rang my old high school buddy Rinaldo," Dad says. "He runs the state campground by the beach now, and he has a small campsite for rent with an empty camper on it. Nothing fancy, a little rough actually, but he says it's ours if we want it." Can we afford it? I think about what Mom said about the fire insurance. Yeah, I can swing it. You up for a long drive tonight? And then a summer by the beach? Of course. I want to go right now. I want to get far away from this shelter as soon as we can. People have been whispering all around us for hours, wondering about the fire. What might have caused it? Whose fault might it be? These are questions that make my heart beat out of my chest. "Let's go, Dad," I say. "Let's go, let's go." Plus, there's no way I can sleep on this blue plastic pellet-filled mattress. I reach out for Dad's hand and squeeze it 3 times. It's our thing. He squeezes back 3 times and smiles. "All right then, Mouse." I don't like that nickname, Mouse, but I can understand why I got it. I'm small, quiet, nervous, and twitchy. I have mousy brown hair, pinned straight, past my shoulders. My small round ears stick out through my hair on either side of my head. Let's grab some supplies first, then we'll hit the road. Dad pauses and gets a funny look on his face. You know, I haven't been back to Conway in, a dozen years. He rubs the back of his neck. I barely think of it as my home anymore. I don't really think of any particular place as home, the way Dad says he does. I mainly just think of Dad. Chapter 6. Things to know about Mom. Back in Texas, my mom has a giant rolling cart filled to the brim with makeup. There's a whole drawer just for lipsticks, and one for foundations and eye creams and eyeliners. You should see the rainbow of eyeshadows, enough to match every spangly dress in her fancy new walk-in closet. She needs that stuff because of her show. Mom is kind of famous. She's got a YouTube channel called Living with Grace, where she gives advice on makeup, home decor, fashion, that kind of thing. She recently hit 200,000 followers, and that's a lot. Sometimes when we're out, people will come up to her and say, "Oh my goodness, aren't you Grace?" And you can see her blush naturally underneath all the carefully blended powder. And when that happens, I really do feel proud of her. She has a genuine talent for YouTube. You know, or maybe you don't, how they say a lot of autistic people, girls especially, have a sort of mask when they're being social? We try to camouflage, to blend in. I totally do that. I don't mean to. I don't set out to. The mask just happens. I so desperately want other kids to like me that my brain's command center takes over whenever I see a group of other kids, and it tells me, mask up. Sort of like on Star Trek, the captain says, shields up. Smile, lips, look calm and happy, act like them, talk like they talk, laugh when they laugh. I can mask all day like that, but then by the time I get home, I'm totally exhausted. Then all I want to do is roll myself up in a blanket and never talk to anyone again. Just detox from the day, just disappear. I suspect that everybody does this though. Everybody masks at least a little. It's not just autistic people. I mean, my mom does it. It's just that she draws her mask on with all those pencils and brushes and powders and creams from her giant rolling makeup cart. She brightens up her voice too on her show, tells people in a very polite, charming voice what to wear if they're pear-shaped or how to get brassy tones, whatever they are, out of their hair, and how to make a perfect summer cocktail. When she talks on camera about such things, she's speaking through her Grace mask. I've noticed she uses that mask around Ron, too. Her cheerful, pretty, bright Grace mask. So it always feels like a bit of a surprise when she lets the mask drop and shows her cranky, anxious side. Mom's show is okay, most of the time. The only time I have a problem with Living with Grace is during April. April is Autism Awareness Month, and Mom always does an autism episode where she shares her private struggles with her fans. The first time she did one of these special episodes, she made a slideshow about me as a baby. I have to tell you, it is really true that I was a very difficult baby. I'm sorry about it, but I guess I really was. But Mom, she chose all the photos of me where I was crying, or throwing a tantrum, or just had a weird or stupid look on my face. She purposely left out all the photos where I looked cute or happy. Then she set the slideshow to slow violin music, and she told her 200,000 followers about how devastating it was when she found out her beautiful child was autistic. What a struggle it was, and that I wore diapers until I was 5. She stage whispered it, with a hand cupped around her mouth for extra drama, looking tragically into the camera. Diapers at 5. When I saw that particular YouTube moment, my face burned so hard with humiliation, I wanted the earth to open a sinkhole and swallow me forever. I remember once Mom told her viewers, "Imagine if your only child refuses to give you so much as a hug." Which was a lie. Mrs. Jills, my therapist, trained me up to hug. So I'll do it. But Mom told the camera, "Having a child like Maudie, I confess, while I love her dearly, sometimes it feels like God is testing me." Well, I sort of think maybe God is testing me too. The year I was 10, Mom put lots of blush on my pale cheeks so I would look healthier, and made me come on her show with her. She said to the camera, "Maudie's growing up so much, we hardly ever have to deal with her meltdowns or tantrums anymore. She's so much more under control." Then she grabbed my hand and swung it up as if we'd won a race, which was weird. The next year, she went candid and surprised me. I was curled up on my bed in my blanket, detoxing after a busy school day. I had my sweatshirt hood pulled up over my face and my eyes closed. Then I heard my door click open. Mom stage whispered, "Notice how she wedges herself between her bed and the wall. That's for the pressure. She likes pressure. It's a sensory thing. Calms her down. And look at that ratty old pink blanket. She slept with that rag every night since she was born. I've tried throwing it out 1,000,000 times, but she can pitch such a fit." She chuckled into her camera mic. "She'll probably carry that thing down the aisle on her wedding day." I pretended to be asleep, to be unaware that not just my mom, but thousands of strangers were observing me. But I don't want you to think she is usually that mean in everyday life. She was trying to be extra dramatic for the camera, for her audience, to put on a show for them, and I realize it's just the way it comes out. But I don't think she understands how much it hurts. I finally got so upset I wrote Mom an email to tell her how I felt. My hands shook while I typed it, and after she read it, she came into my room, batted her beautiful long false eyelashes at me and said, "I'm sorry you feel that way, darlin'. I'll keep you off camera in the future." She tilted her small, dimpled chin at me. "Things'll go smoother if I just leave you out of it anyway." I've always wondered whether she meant things would go smoother in her show or in her life. All right, I hate to leave Maudie at a moment like that, but that is our last reading of this book, and next month we'll be starting a brand new book. So if you'd like to find out more about Maudie's story, which gets a lot better, I can promise you, this book will be available for checkout at the library. I hope you have a great weekend and see you again next time. Bye!